This is Algebra 2, test number 7, through lesson 2.3. Picking up, this is part 2, picking up on number 12. Says 6 plus 8n is equal to 38. Very simple equation, 2 steps. You undo your ant salad before the my dear part. Move 6 over by subtracting 6 on both sides. 8n is equal to 32. Then undo the my dear part, the multiplication and division by dividing by 8 on both sides. N is 4. Distribute 5 times y is 5y. 5 times 3 is plus 15 is 50. Undo the addition and subtraction part by subtracting 15. So you have 5y is equal to 45. Undo 5 times something by dividing by 5. Y is equal to 9. 14, simplifying this one. You do inside parentheses first, and then while you're inside parentheses, you work your order of operations. So you're going to do the exponent first, 4 squared. So negative 3 plus 4 squared is 16. Still inside parentheses. 4 minus 2, we can take care of that one right now, is 2. And that's cubed. Again, still inside parentheses. Negative 3 plus 16 is 13. That times 2 cubed. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So you have 13 times 8. 3 times 8 is 24. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 2 is 104 for that one. Graph the relation. Find the domain and range. Okay, so the biggest number we have up here is 2. 1/2 and 3 over 2 is the same thing as 1 1/2. So we're not going to have to go past 2. So 1, 2 in each direction. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So graph in the first one, negative 1, 1/2. Negative 1, x goes first, and then 1/2 would be about right there. The next one, negative 1/2, and then negative 1. So negative 1/2, negative 1 would be about right there. The next one, 3 over 2, 0 is the same thing as 1 1/2, 0. So 1 1/2 would be about right there. And then the last one, 2, 3 over 2 is the same thing as 2, 1 1/2. So 2, and then 1 1/2 would be right there. So that's what the graph would look like, something like that. Then it says find a domain and range. Your domain is each of your x values. This one, this one, this one, and this one. So domain, smallest number you got is negative 1, then negative 1/2, then 3/2, and then 2 as your domain. Your range is all of your x values. Remember, you don't have to rewrite them. Write them in ascending order. The smallest number you have is negative 1. Next smallest number you have is 0. Next smallest number you have is 1/2, followed by 3/2. There's your domain and range and your graph. Number 16 says make a mapping diagram for the relation. Mapping diagram, just draw yourself 2 boxes or 2 bubbles or 2 ovals. List your domains in the first one. Domains are all of these. Just list them numerically. Negative 3, negative 2, 0, and 4. Then list your ranges, all of your y values. Smallest one, negative 4, negative 2, 3, and 4. Then list the actual relations connecting the two. Negative 3 is paired with 4. Negative 3 is paired with 4. Notice that's the way the relation looks. It doesn't look like this. And there was one like that on the test last week. That's what made it wrong. A couple of y'all asked me, you thought that it was the same thing. No, if it has an arrow only on one side. Negative 2, negative 2. This one goes with this one. The next one, 0, 3, goes with this one. And the last one, 4, negative 4, goes with that one. That's what your mapping diagram looks like. Again, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just don't let it be sloppy to where you can see it. Number 17 says for f of x is equal to negative 2x minus 4. Find f of negative 1. So for f of negative 1 equals negative 2 times negative 1 minus 4. Multiplication comes first. Negative times a negative is a positive 2 minus 4. 2 minus 4 is going to be negative 2. So f of negative 1 is equal to negative 2. Okay, and then we have two problems put together here. It says 4f of x equals 4x minus 2, and g of x equals negative 2x plus 1. Find f of negative 5 divided by g of 4. So we'll do the first one, f of negative 5. So in place of x in the first one, we'll plug in negative 5. So f of negative 5 equals 4 times negative 5 minus 20. Again, multiplications first. Negative 20 minus 2. F of negative 5 equals negative 22. So we have that for a second. Then let's look at the other one. G of 4. In place of x, we're going to plug in 4. So g of 4 equals negative 2 times 4 plus 1. Multiplication first, negative 8 plus 1. G of 4 equals negative 7. So again, we got that. Now, the rest of the problem says find f of negative 5 divided by g of 4. So f of negative 5 is this value, negative 22, over g of 4 is this value, negative 7. So you have a negative divided by negative. All we need to do to simplify that, because there's no number that goes into both 22 and 7, is leave it just like that. 22 over 7. Okay, 19 says graph the equation. It's already in y equals mx plus b form. Very easy equation to graph. B tells you to graph on the y-intercept on the y-axis at negative 1. That's where you begin. M is 1 over 4. That says go up 1, go right 4. So up 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4 is your second point. You got 2 points. You draw your line through them. Your graph looks like that. Number 20, 21, and 22 tell you to just simplify this. Negative 7 plus a negative 9. Same signs, you add them up. 7 and 9 is 16. Keep the common sign, negative. Remember, plus and negative is the same thing as minus. Negative 7 minus 9 get the same thing. Negative 7 times a negative 8. Negative times a negative is a positive. 7 and 8 is 56. Negative 56 divided by 8. Opposite signs is a negative. 56 divided by 8 is 7. Dividing 5 over 7 by 7 over 28. 5 over 7 stays just like that. Division becomes multiplication. You multiply by the reciprocal, 28 over 7. We can reduce this. 7 goes into itself once and into 28 4 times, so we're dealing with smaller numbers. 5 times 4 is 20. 1 times 7 is 7. 20 over 7. That's what you can leave it. There's no number that goes into both. Evaluate y equals x plus 2 times x minus 5 when x is 6. So in place of x, we get 6 plus 2 times in place of x again, 6 minus 5. 6 plus 2 is 8 times 6 minus 5 is 1. 8 times 1, y's value is 8. Three different properties. 2 times x plus 2 is equal to 2x plus 4. That's just doing this. That's the distributive property. Pi plus 13 equals 13 plus pi. The numbers move. The numbers commute. Commutative property. Negative 7.2 plus 0 is equal to negative 7.2. It's exactly the same on the left as it is on the right. Its identity doesn't change. Identity property. Evaluate the expression for the given value of the variable. 5a plus 2b. When a is negative 1, b is 1. A's value is negative 1. So 5 times negative 1 plus 2 times b's value is 1. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. 2 plus 1 is plus 2. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. X squared plus 9x plus 1 when x is 3. Again, in place of x, we're plugging in 3. So 3 squared plus 9 times 3 plus 1. 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 9 times 3 is 27, plus 1. 9 plus 27 is 36, plus 1 is 37. Number 30, negative 2x cubed plus 3x squared plus 3x minus 3 when x is 2. Negative 2 times 2 cubed plus 3 times 2 squared plus 3 times 2 minus 3. Exponents first. 2 cubed, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So we have negative 2 times 8. 2 squared plus 3 times 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 times 2 minus 3. Multiplications next. Negative 2 and 8 is negative 16. 3 and 4 is plus 12. 3 and 2 is plus 6, minus 3. Negative addition and subtraction is next. Negative 16 plus 12 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 6 is 2. And 2 minus 3 is negative 1.